Xbox and Activision Blizzard deal is officially finished, which means that Crash, Spyro, the developers, and fans are going on a brand new adventure. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? Canadian Guy here, and if you haven't heard, the Xbox Activision Blizzard deal has officially closed, which means Xbox now has the rights to all the properties that Activision owns. Now, I already made a video breaking down what this means and what I think is going to happen, which you can check out in the top right corner. But today is not about whether or not Crash or Spyro is going to be coming to the PlayStation platform or if there's going to be new games, which, spoiler alert, if you actually watched that linked video, you would find that I believe that yes, it's still going to come to PlayStation, and yes, there are still going to be more games in the future. But today, I wanted to talk about, well, the lead up to new Crash and Spyro games. You might be confused, so let me explain. Since 2017, this channel established itself on hunting for hints and clues for games making a comeback. We focused in specifically on Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon, mostly because I'm super passionate about these games. And not to toot our own horn, we have gotten a number of things right through hint hunting. From projects being in actual development, like the Spyro Reignited trilogy, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time, and even Crash Team Rumble, to who is developing those said projects, when they are going to be announced, and even details about the game leading up to its announcement and release. Now, this is no accident. I'm not some fortune teller or some insider or have someone inside feeding me information. All of our conclusions were based on critical thinking, by looking at past events, thinking through the scope of a business, marketing signals, and data. This, of course, created hours of research and investigating in patterns. Through this, we began to discover certain patterns that Activision and other companies would be doing leading up to a game announcement. We would also look at different places on the internet that other people typically wouldn't look because it requires a keen eye and loads of previous research to figure out if something actually meant anything. Now, of course, we haven't always been 100% accurate, especially at the start of this channel, and of course the pandemic threw a wrench into all of our research data. But the point is, we generally could sniff out if a game was coming or not. However, this is all about to change. As soon as Xbox officially gets the keys to Activision, everything that we've observed and discussed gets wiped clean. The average of 6 months of advertising for a game before it gets released? Gone. Packages with hints preceding announcements? Gone. PlayStation exclusive previews? Gone. Anniversary obsessions? Gone. Everything that we learned over the course of 5 years about Activision's marketing campaigns now gets reset to zero. Now, this is not to say that none of our previous data or signals is going to mean anything. It's possible that a large chunk of data that we used in the past may still be relevant for the future. But because Xbox has currently taken the wheel, we actually won't know until it happens. But let me tell you a few things that I think will be changing. First and foremost, more time will be given to the developers. In a past interview that I did with Toys for Bob's director Paul Yan, he explained that the timeline for Spyro Reignited was very aggressive, meaning that they had a very short window of time to complete the project. This is also evident because the project was initially slated to come out in September 2018, but was delayed to November a few weeks before launch. The reason why this is relevant is because Activision actually very rarely delays their games, while Xbox is actually more known to giving developers much more time for their games and actually being much more open for games being pushed back. Which leads to what I think will be the next thing that might change. Activision very much followed a very nuanced and very tight marketing strategy. It was announce the game and keep it hot until it's released. What I mean is that Activision only officially announced the title when the game would be only 6 months out from it being released, meaning that the game would be literally almost done by the time the public actually knew about it officially. However, Xbox doesn't really follow this strategy. In fact, they're actually more known to being all over the place when it comes to this stuff. Depending on the title, Xbox will announce the title very early with a CGI trailer or a very early polished gameplay trailer. Then we won't hear anything officially for a long period of time. 6 months, sometimes to a year, and in some cases it can take years. For example, Fable was announced in July 2020 with a CGI trailer, and we didn't even see any in-engine game cinematic trailers until 2023. 3 years later, and we still don't have a release date. But hey, it could be worse. You could be Perfect Dark, where a brand new game was announced to be in development in 2020, and we still haven't gotten an official trailer yet. And according to a number of sources, the game won't release for another 3 years at the time of making this video. The good news is that if a new Crash and Spyro title does go into development, if they're following the Xbox way of marketing, we are probably going to hear about it relatively early. Now, I do most certainly believe that both Crash and Spyro are still going to be making their way to PlayStation, but Crash and Spyro will likely no longer get a Sony marketing push like they have in the past, whether it's through PlayStation showcases, state of plays, blog posts, etc. Instead, we'll have to pay attention to Xbox branded showcases, as they are now the owners of those games. Now, there is something else that might change, and while it would make me nervous, I do have to mention it because it is entirely possible. Crash and Spyro used to be handled by only a few teams under Activision. They were Vicarious Visions, Toys for Bob, and Beanox. With Vicarious Visions now being dissolved into Blizzard, it means that there's only 2 active development teams that currently have handled the modern Crash and Spyro for an intimate amount of time. However, the merge now allows intellectual properties that were once exclusively under the Activision umbrella to be potentially used by any team under Xbox. So hypothetically, a completely new team could try their hands at Crash and Spyro titles, which again makes me nervous because I love what the current teams have done with the modern Crash and Spyro. Now, there's another change that might happen. In fact, it actually is the change that keeps me up at night, and that's me. Confused? Let me explain. I have been talking about Crash and Spyro since 2017. I have theorized, investigated, speculated, and critiqued these games for my entire YouTube career. I have been given the privilege of meeting the developers behind these titles at a number of events. I have had the privilege to interview the creative minds behind these titles to try and share a glimpse of what goes on behind those minds. I have had the privilege to get my hands on these games early, whether it was through a review copy or at a private event, to give you guys my honest thoughts and feelings. All of these opportunities has helped me make better content for all of you who watch, and I genuinely hope that it's all been of value for you. But let's face facts. While I am beyond thankful for every single subscriber I have, both currently and even past ones, I am a small fish on a platform that is somehow just as big as the sea itself. Xbox may feel that their time, money, and energy is better invested elsewhere. They may see the size of my channel in the ocean of content creators and feel that it's not big enough anymore to invest into. And then I'm out of luck. Or maybe they see the dedication and love that I've given these franchises over the years and feel that it would be better to give me more opportunities than I had before. Or maybe we just continue the way we've been the past 5 years. I'm not sure, and I would be naive to think that I know exactly what's going to happen when the keys get handed over to Xbox. However, just as much as this feels like a brand new adventure for Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon, I feel like I'm going on a new adventure as well, and I am interested to see what the next few years will bring both to the franchises and this channel. Speaking of interesting, if you want to check out that interview that I mentioned that I did with Paul Yan, where he breaks down the secrets of developing the Spyro Reignited trilogy, you can check it out here. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.